Ta-da! Hello world, how's it going? It's James. I'm in Turkey. I've probably had about an hour's sleep in the last 24 hours, so I'm running on total empty. But it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. I've got to go and see Dr. Balwi for a consultation and a blood test at 5 p.m. So I thought I would just drop you a quick video because I don't think I'm going to be up much longer when I do get back in. But as you can see, the room doesn't look too bad either. I'll give you a full tour of that when I've got some more energy. But for now, I've made it. Okay, so I just got back from the hospital. They jabbed me with a needle and took some blood from me. Initially I thought this was like a blood test, but in hindsight I guess I'm just quite tired because they obviously are going to need my blood for the PRP treatment, so they need to extract those platelets from my blood, and that's all it was really. No sign of Dr. Balwi, no conversation as such, just take my blood, send me on my way. They've given me my appointment time. I have to be outside the hotel at 8:10. They'll take me then to the hospital. It's unbelievably close. It's literally across the road from the hotel. Looking back on the rest of the day, it's gone fairly smoothly. The flights were smooth. There was no issues there. It took about 3.5, 4 hours to get over here. The guy was waiting for me at the airport at the Vodafone stand like he said he would be. I would say it probably takes about 20 minutes to get from Istanbul airport through to the hotel. The hotel immediately put me in my room. The room's very nice. I was pleasantly surprised by the room, the quality and the standard. The bed's very comfy. The shower's very nice. And it looks as though they're giving me some extra pillows as well, so that when I do get back tomorrow after the surgery, I'll be able to kind of build my recovery nest for the night before I leave. I'm just really tired. So I think the best thing to do now is to just get a good night's sleep, get some rest, so that I can attack tomorrow refreshed and ready for the surgery. Final thoughts, I guess, for today before I pass out from exhaustion. It still hasn't sunk in really, to be honest. I still don't feel as though I'm about to get 3,200 incisions in my head. I don't think it's really going to set in until they start jabbing me with those needles. I feel calm, I feel confident, I know this is what I want, so I'm happy. Other than that, I'm not nervous, looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Good night. Hello, good morning. Today is the day, so the surgery starts this morning. I've already had my shower. Last night I had a little bit of room service. It was very nice, very cheap, very good. So I'm going to go and grab myself some breakfast now. They're going to pick me up at 8:10 and I'm finally going to get my surgery. So I will probably be looking to show you the results in about 7 or 8 hours. I've got a long day ahead of me. Okay, so I have now had my surgery. I'm back from the hospital. They've just dropped me back. The surgery took 8 hours in total, plus 2 hours waiting just to check and make sure that I was okay to leave. I'm not gonna lie, sitting still for that amount of time is a challenge for me. One of the most difficult parts for the entire surgery. Sitting still is not one of my strong points. I'm a fidget. Other than that, I do think it went well, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview of everything that happened today. So they drove me to the hospital, the driver came and picked me up. When I got to the hospital, they made me sign some forms to say that I agreed to what was happening. They did give me the results of the blood test that I had last night, so it was a blood test, and that wasn't the sample of blood for the PRP treatment. Good news is that it's come back all negative, so I am blood disease free. Bonus. I then had my consultation with Dr. Balwi. So he is a real person, he does exist, I have met him and he's a very nice chap. He basically assessed my donor area and said that it was very good. This is something that I also gathered from another consultation that I had back in the UK with some follicles containing 4, 5 and 6 hairs. So I knew already that it was quite a good donor site. He also drew the new hairline and asked if I was comfortable with it. I'm very comfortable with it. I like it. I can't wait to see the results. He also then increased my graft number from 2,800 to 3,500 because he said that he underestimated the initial number of grafts that would be required. So I have had to pay an extra €100 to go up to 3,500 grafts. But again, I'm happy for him to do that. Next, they checked me into the surgery room and they dressed me up in the operation gown as well. They then shaved my head with clippers, and they did ask if I wanted to have my head shaved or if I wanted to keep my hair. I said I was happy to have my head shaved. And it was at this point really that they began the first of several stages through the day. In the first stage, they used like a small, I think it was like an electrode gun, felt like a small electric shock. They did that about 12 or 13 times around the back of my head on the donor area. And this is just meant to numb the head prior to the injections of anaesthetic. It's meant to make it a little bit less painful because apparently the anaesthetic can give a bit of a burning sensation. I can't say that I felt the anaesthetic at all when they did do it, so the clicky gun must have worked. It wasn't unbearable, it was just sharp, and within 10 minutes I couldn't feel a thing on the donor area anyway. And that's when they began the first stage of extracting the follicles from the donor site. There were 2 people doing this, so I'm guessing there was one person with like a drill thing that I could hear that was making the kind of hole around the follicle, and then there was another person that was there, and I'm guessing they were picking the follicles out and placing them into the receptacle ready for transplantation. It's kind of like a dentist because you can hear what's going on but you can't feel anything. That in total took maybe 1 or 2 hours. I'm not really sure because I was quite relaxed. I was drifting in and out of sleep during that time. Obviously didn't feel any pain if I could get into a state of sleepiness. Stage 2 was where a different surgeon then came in. During that stage, he began to make the incisions that would house the grafts on the front of my head. Firstly, they did the same with the front. They used the clicky gun to numb it out and then used the anaesthetic injections. The thing that really got to me by this point though is that I was beginning to get restless, so I'd been lying still for like 1 to 2 hours already, so I really wanted to kind of move. But I would say that this is probably the quickest phase. It was over in maybe 1 to 1.5 hours. The incisions were made in the front of my head quite quickly. You could hear the skin kind of tearing, so it sounded quite gross, but I didn't feel anything. Stage 3 began with 2 new surgeons coming in to begin to start transplanting the follicles into the incision sites that he'd made on the front, and they said to me that it would probably take around 3 hours. I think it was probably closer to 4. But before we did start this phase, we did break for lunch, which was quite quick, but it did allow me the chance to go to the toilet. I had a quick sandwich and I had a drink, and that was all brought to the surgery room as well. So there was a small table and a chair on the side where I could sit down, have lunch, and then I returned to the surgery table after, say, about 20 minutes. So they gave me a short break prior to continuing with phase 3. This was the worst phase for me, not really because of any pain as such, but just because I was so fidgety by this point. You know, I'd been sat still for like 3 or 4 hours already, and they just told me that it was going to be another 3. To endure it was something else. I did encounter a small problem during this point because it seemed like the anaesthetic on the front of my head kind of wore out quite quickly, and I did start to experience pain at the front, but they did just inject me with another load of anaesthetic and I went straight back to being numb again. So it was only a small problem and it was only a slight pain that I encountered about halfway through the surgery. Then towards the end of that 3rd phase, they also took my blood again and they used that for the PRP treatment, which is the platelet-rich plasma. I had an IV in my arm, so they just took my blood from the IV, about 3 to 4 injections in the front just before they finished off. After the PRP treatment, I was so ready to finish, but it felt like hours. It was probably another half an hour after the PRP treatment until they finally told me that I was finished. And I was so happy to finish. I was just so happy that I could move and I could stand up and do things again. It was a real long haul. They actually gave me a meal as well. It was chicken and pasta, so it was very nice, and I ate that quite quickly because I was really hungry. And then they returned me to the waiting room with all the other patients who'd finished their surgery as well. And then it was really just 2 hours of total boredom. I also started to get quite sore during this time as well. I think it's just a case that the anaesthetic must just wear off really quickly with me. It was just a throb at the very front of my head, so I actually took some of the painkillers that they gave me in the pack, and that actually helped to relieve some of the pain. So after those 2 hours I was cleared to leave, and they ordered me a taxi to come back to the Nidja hotel. They removed my IV and they gave me 3 more injections into my head with, it was some sort of mixture of sodium chloride. They gave me 3 or 4 injections of that into the front of my head and told me that I was good to go. So I wasn't waiting around. So now I'm going to give you a close-up of the graft site, just so you can see it in all its gruesome glory. Avert your eyes if you are squeamish. Okay. So there is my graft site, looking pretty gruesome at the moment. It definitely is throbbing, so I wouldn't say that I'm without pain, and I definitely wouldn't want to touch it. But everything apparently has gone successfully, so I'm happy with it. I just can't wait to see some of the results. The donor area is still bandaged up at the moment, so I can't show you that. They're going to remove that tomorrow morning, and I think I'm also getting a small wash, but nothing too significant, and it's really just to get some of the excess blood away. Also gave me a wonderful goodie bag, so I'm just going to break down everything that was contained. So the first thing that they gave me was all of the paperwork that I signed. This also contains the instructions that were given post-operation, but they discussed during the consultation this morning. Next up, we've got a neck pillow. So it seems like it's a really good quality neck pillow. I've never really been a fan or used them before, but I think I'm going to definitely make the most of this one tonight. I'm not allowed to sleep on my sides. I have to sleep on my back, preferably in an upright position. So hopefully this is going to help. We've also got some, what I can only describe as like nappy-like material, just in case there's any leakages from my head during the night. This saves the hotel room pillows and probably me from being billed. We also have some official Dr. Bowley lotion and shampoo. We also have a couple of freebies. We've got an Elit Hair Transplant notepad and a pen. And most importantly, we also have a range of medication for me to take post-operation and for the next couple of weeks as well. So the first pack of pills that we have are titled Monodox. These are antibiotics. I am to take 1 pill after lunch every day for 7 days with 12 hours between each pill until this package is empty. Miniset, this is a painkiller and it's really to be used only if necessary. 2 pills together, maximum of 6 pills per day. I already took some of these in the waiting room because the throbbing was quite serious. And we've also got Precourt. It's an anti-inflammatory. So I have to take these 1 hour after the antibiotics, 3 pills together for 4 days, no more. They've also said that as soon as I return to the UK, I can continue my finasteride treatment as previously. My first hair wash can be done 48 hours after the surgery, so that will be when I'm back in the UK. I'll apply the lotion first for 40 minutes, then rinse off. Then I apply the shampoo and leave that for a further 3 to 5 minutes and rinse that off as well with gentle running water from front to back. The donor area is also going to need some washing as well, and I can do that for a further 2 to 3 minutes. So that was just a quick breakdown of everything that I've got in my Elit Hair Transplant goodie bag. So that was my day of surgery, and it's been a very long one, so I'm now going to try and see if I can get some sleep for the night. I've got my consultation follow-up with them, and they're coming to pick me up at 10 AM tomorrow. It's now about 10 o'clock at night, so I'm going to try and see if I can get some sleep before then. Peace out, people.